Hi, everyone. Welcome to week two of Data Journalism Summer Session One. I'm recording this in May 2025. So, if I mention a deadline or you see a deadline on the screen and you're watching this in 2026 or 2027, just keep in mind that you may have different deadlines than the ones you actually see on the screen here. But the exercises we're going through are still going to be the same. We're going to be in week two, so you'll need to open up the week two folder. I would open up my syllabus too, just so we can scroll down and kind of take a look at where we're at in the class. So if you want, hit the pause button right now and open up the week two folder and go down to the syllabus and open that up and scroll down to week two. And inside that week two folder, we have a subfolder called data scraping and bridge inspections. We also are doing Google Maps and math for journalists this week. But we're doing data scraping right now in this video. And you've got a bridges assignment, which will be your third assignment for the week. But what I want you to do now is to open up the data scraping practice exercise. We're just going to practice scraping before we do it with the bridges assignment. And then also download the Nevada voter registration data. That's for PDFs. And you can do that, over here on the left-hand side of the screen. It'll give you a download button over here on the left. So if you do that, maybe hit pause and just make sure you've got both of those open. And then we'll get started again. So your download button's over here. If you just kind of hover over to download right there, or you can hit the three dots in case you don't have the arrow down there. Hit the three dots, the mini hamburger, as the developers call it, and hit download there. All right, just as a reminder, we're in the week two section of the course. This is the syllabus. Note the deadlines are for March or May of 2025, not any other year. And the area we're on right now is data scraping subfolder. This is the video you're watching, and then underneath it, we have the data scraping exercise that you just opened in this folder. You also might want to hit pause right now and open up Tabula Technology and download it. It's software that we use for scraping PDFs. It's safe. You can download it for Windows or Mac. If not, just watch my demo. But it is very useful, and it's a good piece of software you have to have on your desktop. So if you want to, hit pause and take time to download that. All right. Now, inside our data scraping folder, we're going to open up this practice exercise, okay? And this practice exercise up at the top of the screen here, I give props here to ProPublica's Zelina Groger. She's the one who taught me how to scrape data about 15 years ago. I've got a follow-up video here on how to do all this as well. It's more for professionals doing this. But what we're going to do today is we're going to scrape a web page. Data scraping is extracting information, data, out of one format, a web page or PDF, and putting it into a workable format like a spreadsheet or a Word doc, where a journalist can take something and do with it. A lot of government agencies love to put data up on the web, make it public, which they're required by law to do, but they'll do it something like this. They'll put it in this big table here. And they do that on purpose, makes it very difficult for you to download it and use it. But scraping will allow you to do it. Sometimes you'll see a download button up here, which is nice. You can download the data into a spreadsheet. Some government agencies do it, some don't. NIFC, the National Interagency Fire Center, which has compiled all this nice wildfire data for us, total fires by year and acres burned per year, doesn't do it for us. And one advantage of scraping the data is when it adds a new year here, when it has 2025 data and we'll add it here, it will also update on your spreadsheet, which is really nice. It's a constant marriage between this web page that you're scraping and this spreadsheet, which you're dumping the data into, which is really, really cool. Okay, so let's take a look at this formula as you fill it out. Equal sign import HTML. Most of you have written a formula before in a spreadsheet, equal sign sum or equal sign average to total up or average out some data in a spreadsheet. This is an outward facing formula. It's telling Google Sheets to go out and import HTML, We're going to tell it what website to go to, put in the URL here. We're going to tell it what element to scrape, which is a table. Number of element on page is typically going to be 0, starting with the first table on the page and then scrape down. So what I've done here is kind of filled in, the formula for you, and go down to number 5, and we're just going to copy this completed formula. You can see I've filled in all the elements, and you can just work off of a template like this for any website you want to scrape. So I plugged in National Interagency Fire Center link here, table, and 0, meaning start at the page and scrape everything. So what you're going to do is just highlight this and copy it. Remember, it's a very finicky formula. It's very picky. If you knock out a quote mark or a comma or a close parentheses or forget the equal sign, it's going to give you an error message. Okay. So as you're working with this, keep that in mind. Make sure you've copied everything. And now I'm going to show you a little hack. We're going to actually open up a Google Sheet in a way that you probably haven't done before. Sheets.new. Type in sheets.new or docs.new, you'll get a Google Doc that way. It'll open up the sheet right away. Obviously, then you can take and go file, make a copy or, download if you're going to use it in Excel. You can scrape into Excel, but really it's a little easier to scrape web to web with Google Sheets to a website. It just works a little bit better. Or you can download it or, move it, move to a different folder if you want to. So first thing we're going to do is title our spreadsheet. So in the upper left-hand corner where it says Untitled Spreadsheet, go in and add in the name of the FC Wildfires, 1583 to 2024, and then I'll put my initials at the end. Okay, I always like to do that just to mark it so I know it's mine. Always have a title on your spreadsheet. First thing you should always do, because if you go back to find that spreadsheet a few weeks later, when you need it for the story, it's not there, or you can't search for it because everything's titled Untitled Spreadsheet. So we're going to scrape now using that formula that you copied, and we're going to scrape into cell A1. Your first row should always be the headers for each column that tell what appears under it, and then the data will flow vertically down from each header. So paste in your formula, and you'll get this warning message at the top. Most of you will probably get this. Warning, some formulas are trying to send and receive data from external parties. Hit allow access, and wait a second, your data will flow in. Okay. One thing I always do here is I always check my data. I scroll down to the end, make sure I've got everything back to 1983, all the way up to 2024. Now, many of you would probably want to start, editing or, totaling, up these numbers or something, down below. If you wanted to total them, you could. But if you try it in this scraping formula format, you'll get error message and the data will disappear. That's because this spreadsheet has been linked forever to this web page. As long as this web page remains at this web address, and very rarely do government websites change their URLs. We've had some taken down during the Trump administration, but still, they tend to stay put. So you'll always be able to get the updates here. Problem is you can't edit any of it because it'll disappear. And that's a good thing because we should always work off of a copy anyway. I'm sure your professors have told you that. Always work off a copy, that type of thing. So we're going to make a copy of this and move it to another tab. And you've got to do it in a very special way. Our handout details how to do that in steps 7, 8, and 9. But I'm just going to show you on the screen here so you can follow along. Click the little rectangle in the upper left-hand corner, and it highlights the entire spreadsheet, everything on there. And copy it, Command C, or you can do, file copy. I always do the key codes on it, the key strikes. Command C on a PC, Control C or Command C on a Mac, Control C on a PC. And then I'm going to add another tab down here. To do that, to add another sheet, you hit the plus sign in the lower left-hand corner. And to paste this in, you have to do it in a special way. You have to go to Edit, paste special values only. What that does is strips out the formula, the scraping formula, so only the data will come in. And now I can go through and edit it. And I'm going to delete out these first two rows, edit, delete, because I just want my header row. And down here, it's got a bunch of, source information. It's good, useful information. You can save it and use it in your story or something later, but I'm going to delete it down here. And now you've got a nice, clean data set. I always boldface my headers so I see the titles. It's always important to have that there. It's good for sorting and filtering, which is what you're going to do on the assignment that we give you. And it's also good, if you're going to somehow visualize this, in a bar chart or some type of other graphic making tool, having those headers there helps it understand where to put the information. You've done some scraping. Way to go. If it doesn't work the first time, try a second time. Sometimes the second time through will work better for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you hit pause. This is, all the pasting stuff we had. I'm going to have you practice on your own, just so you get good at this. And I've given you some websites here, some more National Interagency Fire Center data, Federal Highway Administration data, which is what we're going to work with. This is an older version of it. We're going to work with some similar data in your exercise, so it might be fun to scrape this one. This is a 2017 study. We're going to be working with 2019. Also, USA Today sports salaries, highest paid college football coaches. You can take these links and copy one of them, and you have a bunch of blank formulas down here. And you can just paste them in where it says URL, and then it gives you table and zero. And just do some more practice on that spreadsheet. Do 5 or 6 of them and get good at this. So I'll scrape again. Just keep going and it'll flow in here in a minute. It's being a little stubborn on me. The other thing to remember too is I always label my sheets edited and then original or scraped down here. Just so if somebody else on my team's coming in to look at the data, they know that this is the scraped version and to leave it alone, and the edited version to work off of is over here. So, I could total these up, equal sign, sum. How many wildfires have we had in those 41 years? What would it be? B2 to B43. I'm going to total this up. Look, it actually gave me the formula. It knew what I was looking for. Man, we've had more than 2.9, almost 3 million wildfires in the last 40 years in the US. Wow. Here it gets the formula too, equal sign sum C2 to C43. It's AI working for you folks. You can also generate formulas using Gemini now, which is a real nice feature. And it's burned over 216 million acres, 250 million acres of land have been burned in the US. So this would be the totals if I was totaling these up vertically by year. Just to give you a little example of, how you can manipulate and edit the data, once you've captured it and put it in the edited form. Okay, so take a little time here to go in and scrape on your own and just put some of these formulas into these tables or into these links into these formulas and work with them. You've got a whole bunch of blank ones here to work with. So go ahead and hit pause and do that, and then we'll come back and move on to PDFs. All right, now that you have some experience scraping web pages, we're going to scrape PDFs. Anytime you file a Freedom of Information Act request with a government agency, a FOIA request, you're telling that agency that you need to have that data sent to you within the next 30 days, or we could potentially sue the government and get access to it. These public records are compiled. Our tax dollars pay for them to compile these public records and make them available to us. It's not just journalists; it's lawyers, people that run construction companies, all kinds of people use the FOIA requests. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. And these letters are form letters. You can find them online. AI can write them for you. You can just type in what you want it to do, and it'll give you a little template that you can fill in the blanks. And whenever you request data, always tell them in the letter that you want that data sent to you as a spreadsheet, or as a Word doc or Google Doc or whatever. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, they will send it to you as a PDF. Ugh. PDFs are awful. You can't do anything with them really. And I've got some PDFs, and I gave you that one for the Nevada voter registration data in your folder. So here we go. I'm going to open it up. It's just a simple table showing voter registration data. I actually had to file a FOIA to get this. When I was teaching at Arizona State, we had to file the FOIA request to get this data from the Secretary of State's office back in 2016. This is the year Trump was elected. And we requested that it be sent to us as a spreadsheet. They didn't. They complied on day 29 of day 30 and of 30 days and sent it to us, but they sent it as a PDF as kind of a, go to hell. They weren't very nice about it, but they sent it to us as a PDF. So we did get it, but we were able to scrape it because we knew what to do. So we had downloaded tabula.technology. Go to tabula.technology, Tabula. It's linked off of your handout there, the data scraping handout. It's right down here under scraping PDFs. And we can also use PDF to Excel. We're going to demo that in Scraper Wiki as well. There's a bunch of others, Comet Docs and others. But the two most popular really are Tabula and PDF to Excel. So PDF to Excel is just a browser-based tool. If it's kind of a routine scrape like this, no big deal. I can just upload it here and go in and uh, find it and upload it there, and it'll scrape it. They claim that it only sits up there for 6 weeks or 6 days or 6 hours, excuse me, 6 weeks, 6 hours. But it actually could stay up there longer, and somebody could potentially hack it and see what you're scraping. So if it's a very sensitive document, I probably wouldn't move it up here. But I just hit upload and I downloaded my PDF in here. It's converting it. It may fail. It'll fail sometimes 2 or 3 times on you, and you keep trying it, and eventually it will. It's a free tool. Here it is, free download. And I can go in then to my downloads folder, and it should have my data set in there. And here it is, Nevada voter registration data. And I'll move it to my desktop. I'll just open it in Excel. And it pulls everything out of the document, the header, the text underneath, the spreadsheet itself. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. Blow it up here. So it took me, a matter of seconds to scrape that out of there. And I'm going to kill out those rows. And I've got my header row now in row 1. And you can keep this other information around. Just, I'm going to delete it, but you can copy it if you feel the need to save it. And then we've got all of our totals here, or all of our counties here, and then the totals at the bottom. It's always important. This is something that's taught a lot at investigative reporters and editors conferences, is to always have a little data moat separating the statewide totals, or if you're working with a budget, totals. And then I'm going to insert a row here just to separate it out so it doesn't get mixed in with this. If I'm going to, sort all this data here, I'm going to want to add that. I'm going to add a column here too, because it adds the totals across by county too. So I'm going to insert a column as well, just to keep those separated. Very important. They call them a data moat. It's just creating a little data moat from the unedited version to the raw data to the totals. Okay. So now you've got a nice clean spreadsheet from that PDF. If you have a paid version of Adobe Acrobat, Acrobat will do this. Just go File, Save as Spreadsheet, and it'll do it for you. A lot of you don't have that, and a lot of newsrooms don't have it. So you have to use these free tools in order to do it. So that's PDF to Excel. Okay. If you've downloaded Tabula, you can open it on your software folder, and it'll give you a little tab that you can use. Mine's right over here. I've got a vertical tool where it says Tabula, and I've already opened it to save time. And it'll open in your browser. But notice the software is on your laptop or your computer. So you're not scraping off the web. It's much safer. You're scraping off of what we call a local address here, these set of numbers up in the uh, field for the web address. And instead of, scraping it out on the live web, you're scraping it right off your computer, which is much harder for somebody to hack. So all you do, very easy software to use. The Help Center is really good at helping you troubleshoot. You hit browse. I can go and find my Nevada voter registration data, hit import. It'll bring it in. You'll see a little progress bar. It's waiting to be be downloaded, and here it comes. Works a little slowly, but it's worth the wait. And it'll bring it in as a PDF. So what you see on the screen here is a PDF. Notice it gave me little crosshairs here. I can actually paint across here and tell it what I want it to scrape. Or if you have a huge document that has maybe 90 pages and 60 tables, to go and paint 60 tables would take a while. Just hit auto detect and it'll select the table for you. Hit preview and export in the upper right-hand corner. And what it'll do is it'll convert that PDF into what? An HTML table. What do we know about HTML tables? We know we can scrape them using that formula. That formula is built into this tool. So you can hit the export button here. I'm going to export it. You can pick the format. CSV, comma separated values is basically an Excel spreadsheet. I'll hit export. It'll scrape this table, turn it into a spreadsheet. And let me see where they put it here. It labels a little bit differently. It used to label it tabula, but it drops it in to your folder here. You'll get this, it's the same result as you get with the other one. I'm going to hit it again because I don't think it dropped in. It showed that it did, but it didn't. I'm hovering over everything here. Sorry, guys, I'm having a little trouble finding it here. Give me a minute. Yeah, very odd. We'll see if it pops in there. It's under data. So it brings it in. It just labeled it data, which was really weird. Really weird way of labeling it. It usually labels it tabula, so I don't know what it's doing there. But anyway, that's a good way to get your data set scraped and downloaded very, very quickly into a workable format. Okay, so those are some tools that you can use to scrape data. Depending if it's a web page, you can use the formula, or if it's a PDF, you'll want to use one of those tools to do it. So again, you've got that Nevada voter registration data in here that you can practice with. Use that, and once you get comfortable with using it, then open up the analyzing a data set failing bridges assignment. And that is on our syllabus as well. It shows you to do that assignment and gives you the deadline under week 2 right here. And again, ignore these deadlines if you're not in the May 2025 class, because you'll have different deadlines than what we have in this semester because they change every year. So practice with data scraping here, then jump into this assignment where you'll be required to scrape a bridge inspections database and do some math calculations in it. I walk you through how to do it on the handout, and you'll be good to go. All right. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me, and good luck.